What's going on, guys? Nemo and I are here. It's back. The Immortal podcast. Diablo Immortal is coming. We have details, we have information, so it's time to start talking about it and to start up the Immortal podcast yet again. Welcome, Nemo. How you doing, brother?
Super pumped, super excited. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for 2 days for the Immortal podcast to come back, and of course for the Diablo Immortal release date, which is what, in 31 days. So
who's counting?
Pretty excited. Yeah, who's counting? That's right. Pretty pumped and excited to get the whole fam in here.
Yes.
Let's get going.
Yeah, let's get going. So I want to remind everyone, it's been a while since we've had the podcast, right? So this is how it works. Nemo and I come into this podcast, the 1 hour long podcast. We have a couple of ideas, a couple of topics, and we start with those, and then we dive into the chat and we take your questions directly. We have plans for some massive guests to be here on the channel in the future. Stay tuned for that. And once the game is actually here, it will be a weekly podcast, probably on Sundays, maybe Saturdays sometimes. We have other things going on as well, but it's going to be a weekly thing once we get the game. So exciting stuff for sure. I see tons of you guys in the chat hyped already. Thank you guys for coming through. And really, Nemo, tell them about other places, because we're no longer just going to be here on YouTube. We are going to live stream on YouTube right here, but then it's going everywhere in the interwebs. Nemo, let everyone know where they can find us after we're live.
Yeah, I'm super excited. The Immortal podcast is going worldwide on the major streaming podcasting platforms. So like basically once we're over here with live, it's going to be on Echo's channel, but it's also going to be on Spotify, Google Podcast, and Apple Podcast. In fact, right now we have a whole bunch of episodes that we already started loading, previous episodes, from 1 to I believe 9 we have in there, and I have about 17 more to load. And of course, this one right here will be available as soon as we're done. So definitely check us out over there. You can follow us right now. Just type in Diablo Immortal Podcast or the Immortal Podcast, and you'll see us.
Yes. Thank you. That's well said, Nemo. So let's start out with what's going on, right? So obviously we have a release date of June 2nd. They were actually ahead of schedule, which is making me excited. I mean, I'm stoked about them being ahead of schedule. But there was also news about it's coming to PC. Remember, mobile first. So this is going to be a mobile game playable on PC, kind of like an emulator would work, but probably a lot better than that. So what do you think about that? What does that do for Diablo Immortal? What does that mean for the community and all that?
It like blew my mind, right? The whole PC thing. I mean, how much is it going to expand the community? We have a whole bunch of folks, right, who just play on PC. Now we're going to be able to play with the folks on mobile. And the whole idea of it being cross-play completely blew my mind. Let me ask you a question, Echo. You're going to play on mobile exclusively, right?
Dude, of course I'm going to play exclusively on mobile. I mean, that's how I play Diablo Immortal. Although, I may be in the minority there, but I'm happy that a lot of other people can get involved that hate mobile. Some people just do not like mobile games, but now they can play. Like, I'm talking about D2, D3 players that weren't interested in the mobile version, but now they have no reason to not play it. I mean, they're legit going to play it. It opens it up to everybody. How about you?
Yeah, no, agreed. I mean, I'm going to play on the PC version because I definitely want to check it out. See, back in the day, I think I said this previously in videos, I really loved the whole idea of being able to play the game on PC and then take it with you when you go out. Because like a lot of the times I go out and do stuff. So it's important for me to go and, you know, bring Diablo with me. So right now I'm going to actually be able to do that. So with that being the main kind of key point, I'm probably going to play both. But I mean, I really fell in love with Diablo Immortal because of mobile. I really like the mobile controls. I prefer them even over a controller. And I feel like I'm gonna let it, you know, I'm gonna play it out first and check it out, but I feel like I'm gonna prefer that over the mouse and keyboard, WASD keys, or any of that setup. So because of that, I'll probably gravitate to mobile for sure. But I'll check it out on the PC. That's 100%.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of people that were always expecting Diablo Immortal to be on mobile. So we already have this community of mobile gamers that are stoked for it. Everyone's, you know, we're gonna be playing on mobile. That's what we play. That's how we play. But we are going to start getting an influx of people getting interest. I've heard of large streamers, you know, like big players on Twitch that are now interested in playing Diablo Immortal because they can play on PC. They can stream it on PC. And that's going to be pretty cool that we're going to be able to get some of these big creators with a big reach, which is essentially advertisement for Diablo Immortal. I'm excited because it's just going to make it even bigger. You know, Diablo Immortal already has 30 million pre-registrations, Nemo, and now it's going to be even more now that it's on PC. As soon as people start seeing PC players playing it on Twitch and on things like that. So It's exciting. And I love seeing in the chat right now, I'm reading through the chat, and people are using words that we use in our videos, like fingers on glass and things like that. That shows we got some support here, man. We got the family here, what we've been building over the last 2.5 years. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's really exciting. You know, another point to the question that you just, or the thing that you just mentioned.
Yep.
Now, it's also, because it's free and people are going to try it, it's also now available on the Blizzard launcher. So if you're playing any other Blizzard game, which a lot of us are, it's free, it's right there. And I mean, all you have to do is just hit the button and it'll download for you. So why wouldn't you try it, you know?
Yeah, it makes sense. There's no reason for people not to try it at this point. So the mobile thing is out of the way, right? We know that it's mobile and PC. We know the release date. Those are the two biggest things. Like when I heard it was coming to PC, I kind of like was surprised. I was not expecting Blizzard to do that. So in my opinion, that was a great call by them to do something like that. Just a drastic change that the community wasn't looking or even expecting, right? So what other changes, Nemo, or what other things have we heard about recently? As my dog's barking out there, what have we heard recently about Diablo Immortal that's going to be different from what we knew from maybe the beta just a few months back?
Well, we heard that there's a lot of changes coming. They listened to the community once again, and they've adjusted a whole bunch of stuff. They've adjusted set stuff. They gave us a whole bunch of other little details there and here. My question, of course, is the biggest change for me is the cycle of Strife, right? They did come out with a blog post. Was it a few months ago? I can't remember when that was, actually. I think it was a few months ago.
Yeah,
Echo,
sure. What's up?
You were echoing a little bit. There was a few, I think it was 2 months ago. And when they came out with this post, they talked about how the cycle of Strife is getting a whole bunch of changes. We had the Dark Clans now, or the Dark Houses. Now they mentioned something about Dark Clans and a whole bunch of other things that are coming to the cycle of Strife. I'm really pumped about that. Now, they did mention that they're actually going to come out with some of this information. Maybe we'll get another blog post. I'm not 100% sure. But I'm really pumped to hear what they're doing with that. I'm sure everybody has questions about that as well. By the way, if you do have questions, make sure you drop them right in the chat. We are looking at all the questions that everybody's dropping, and we're going to be answering them. I'll be copying them right here on my clipboard. So if you have good questions for us, let us know. Make sure to tag me or Echo so we can see it in the chat, and we'll definitely come to you because that's how the show kind of works. We answer all of your questions.
Yeah, I mean, am I echoing now or am I coming through okay?
No, you're good.
All right, great. Something that we just saw in the chat is there's no other good MMOs or RPGs on mobile. So I guess we could ask right now, Nemo, what are some of the competitors of Diablo Immortal? Like, what's out right now that players can play that could maybe give Diablo Immortal a run for their money? I mean, there's really only one that I can think of, and it's not even in the same genre. And I'm talking about Genshin Impact. I know you kind of spoke about that on how the game is done and how it is similar to what Diablo Immortal is doing regarding PC and also the mobile, but I honestly don't think it's a competitor. And if you look at action RPGs, there's nothing that, in my opinion, is strong enough to even, go toe to toe with Diablo Immortal. Do you agree?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's a few games that are in beta right now in December, but it's not really fully out. There's a few games threatening to come out with some mobile games, so we'll wait and hear about those. I know that Torchlight, right, is coming out with a beta, and that looks pretty interesting. It doesn't really compete, and I don't think. I mean, there is a Torchlight on PC, and there's a Torchlight on the console, but I'm not sure if you can actually play the beta Torchlight and have it be crossplay with the rest. I don't think so. So technically speaking, the only game that I think right now has crossplay across all of the mobile and PC platforms is Genshin Impact, and along with Diablo Immortal, and I mean. For me, Diablo Immortal obviously is the winner, but I really don't think there's anything else that comes even close, Echo.
Yeah, I agree. And I played Torchlight, and I can download it again and play another version of it if I want to. I just haven't had the time. And it is a good game, but it's very different than Diablo Immortal. I think that it's done well. It just seems to lack the depth that Diablo Immortal has. With that said, it is probably one of the better action RPGs right now on mobile, but you just can't compare it to Diablo Immortal. Now, I want to get to one of the questions in chat. This is what we do here. It's from Drag Nepure. Do you know how Blizzard plans to make the game equal for all? PCs are more powerful than phones with CPU, RAM, memory, etc. Are we mobile gamers going to lag behind PC players? Excuse my English. And I mean, if I were to take that, remember, Diablo Immortal is being built for mobile. It's being made perfect for mobile devices. So I don't believe that unless if you have a really inferior mobile device, that you're going to run into issues that a PC player is going to be able to have a better experience than you. Will they have, do they have the ability, maybe for, you were talking about, Nemo, in our video, about being able to have larger 4K screens and all that stuff? Yes, but it doesn't mean that your gameplay experience on mobile is going to be laggy or give you any issues in any way. In fact, you can go in the settings and adjust it to whatever device you have. Now, my phone right here, it's not a new phone. This is an iPhone 11, and my iPad, this thing is 4 years old, and I played Diablo Immortal on both of these. The footage that I use in all my videos is from these devices, a 2-year-old phone and a 4-year-old iPad, and it played really nicely. Would it play better on a newer phone or on a newer tablet? Of course, but I had no issue with devices that are 2 to 4 years old. Of course, at the time, they were like the best. When the iPhone 11 came out, it was the best iPhone. So it wasn't like I was getting a $100 Android phone and expecting it to last a few years. But what do you think about that, Nemo? I know that you're more of an Android person than I am. What do you think about devices, lagginess, and things like that?
Well, so generally speaking, I mean, if you scale something on a bigger screen, it's probably just easier to see. Now, we did talk about that, right? How the scaling works between both like a PC screen and a regular screen.
Mm-hmm.
But again, as we talk about all this, remember that the game was built for mobile. So yeah, it will work on PC, but generally speaking, it was designed around mobile, right? So, okay, the screen, fine. But what about the connection, right? Some people are saying, well, yeah, that's great, but you're never going to be able to replicate a cable, right? Because PC has a cable that's directly plugged in, and yeah, you have Wi-Fi, but the PC is faster, a little bit more response. I think that's like kind of maybe in some sort of like a high-level PvP situation when you're playing FPS and you need every frame rate and etc. and etc. and etc. But generally speaking, I feel like that's probably not going to be that much of an issue for anybody. Maybe it's a little bit of an advantage if you're splitting hairs, but I mean, how much of an advantage? We're going to be splitting hairs, so let's not even talk about that, right? So there's the networking aspect of it, and the computer being more powerful as much as so you can run unframed or uncapped frame rates, so you might be able to go faster than 60 FPS or 120 FPS. Maybe they'll give you a little bit of an advantage again, but that type of advantage, once again, I think comes around when you're playing FPS games. Maybe if you're playing Call of Duty or something like that. I'm not sure if it's going to be that big of a difference here. And on top of that, we know that the team itself, the Diablo Immortal team, is definitely looking out for this, and there's going to be they're going to be looking at ways to make sure this is completely even. So if there is any kind of advantage, I'm sure we can talk about it, and they'll try to address it and fix it. So that's kind of my opinion on this.
I like that, and you brought up a good point about them looking to address and fix any issues that there may have. Now, Nemo, I wanna take a short break from the questions because we have a bunch coming through the chat, and I want to let everyone know. I talk about this in my videos, and Nemo talks about them in his. What I want AES to do, he's our mod right now, a huge part of our community. There's actually a bunch of people from our community right now, and that's what I want to talk about. Our community. It's called the Scrappy Echoes, and right now you could come join us on our Discord server. So AES, if you could put a comment here in the chat, or Nemo, you could do it as well. Join the Scrappy Echoes with the Discord link. I'm going to pin that right now to the chat, and I'm personally inviting all of you to come on through. Now, what does that mean if you join the Scrappy Echoes? Essentially, it's our clan family. We have a clan family worldwide. It doesn't matter what server you're going to be joining. We have a branch, a division of people ready to lead and just have you join in on what we're doing all the time. You're not our minions. We're not making you do things for us. We are playing all together. We are here. Nemo and I are here with the Scrappy Echoes to support you guys and to really just have a great family together. Now here, I'm pinning the comment right now. Nemo, can you also do that as well? And write join the Scrappy Echoes so that I could actually put not just the link, but the link is pinned right now. If you guys want to come on through, be part of the family, it's a Discord server. It's free. It's over 1,000. We're pushing 1,500 members right now, and we want you guys to be there. We want to have 2,000 members in there, if not more, before the game launches in about a month. So let's scroll right now through and find some more questions that we may have that are coming from the chat. Okay, we have Bones McCoy asking, I would anticipate lag on initial launch because of the massive amount of peeps that will jump in at launch, no matter the device. You know what? I've seen this happen in other games before, not only mobile, PC, but I think that Blizzard's doing as much as they can to test all this out. That's why they had 2 alphas and a beta. They were stress testing the system to see how much of it could work. They did go live in Australia for anyone that was in Australia that was able to play. So they already kind of had a strong test there. And do you anticipate there being some lag or issues or server problems on day one, Nemo?
It's tough to say. And like you said, they definitely made sure they prepared for this, right? And the servers, the way they kind of work, these are meant to sort of like, they're supposed to like have phasing systems and whatever I heard. So they're meant to basically support a large amount of traffic. Now, I wasn't, to be honest with you, when they said, 30 million pre-registers, I didn't think they were going to reach it this quick. So now it makes me a bit nervous. Like I wonder how much, how much traffic they're really going to get. I mean, most games in general, right, first day usually have problems. So I wouldn't bet against it, but I wouldn't bet for it either because I know they're preparing for sure.
All right. That makes sense. I mean, that's something we could typically expect for any game, and I think we'd kind of be in the same boat. Now, we have a question from Caffeine Machine. Being a shadow and getting into dark houses gives some good buffs. What does the game do for guilds or clans other than the social element? Nemo, I'm going to let you take this one, because I know things have changed a little bit. Like, they've been back and forth on it, and I think they may be back and forth as well, depending on how it works out upon launch. Remember, everything can be modified, changed, and updated.
Yeah, for sure. So the way the kind of clans work right now, there's a bit of a change here, right? Because the cycle of strife, as we talked about earlier, is getting a whole bunch of changes, and we're still waiting to hear what that is. We did hear that there's going to be the whole dark clan aspect of it. So normally, before this whole change, clans in general didn't really have too much. I mean, they had a social aspect. You jumped into the clan, you hung out, there was a clan chat, and you also were able to, there were some achievements. There was like a whole page of achievements that you could do as a clan together. And it seemed like every time we asked, there's going to be anything else, what's going to happen with this whole situation, they said, there's more coming, and that's kind of all we know so far. Now, so, yeah, the social aspect, I guess, is there, but there isn't anything like clan wars but we did hear stuff from Wyatt, we heard stuff from Team, we heard that there's going to be some sort of a system, right? They even mentioned that in one of the last videos they were talking about. Now, did they mean the cycle of strife? Because now a clan, apparently, if you look at the post, if you read the blog post, it says that the clan will have an option to turn into a dark clan. So instead of being a dark house, which was kind of weird, right? Before, if you were thinking about it, like when you jumped in, you had the clan and you also had a dark house. So you had a clan that you hung out with, but you also had a whole set of people that you were shadows with, right? To be shadowy with and try to take their mortals down. So it was kind of odd because it's almost like you had two clans. Didn't really make any sense. So they got rid of the dark houses, and they're going to be doing something with the clan system itself. So, to be honest with you, right now, we don't know too much. But yeah, it sounds like it's coming, and it sounds like there's a lot of updates to come when we hear about their changes from the cycle of strife. So, more to come soon.
Yeah, I think that was well put there, Nemo. Thank you. Let's get into another question. It's from Zoena, I believe. This question reads, I've been wondering if they're going to be adding more face customization for each race/gender. At the moment, I count 3. Do you think they'll add more? And I don't know. I mean, we see some games that have like a large customization HUD where you can really make it look any way that you want, moving the eyebrows, spreading the eyes, doing a lot. You see it a lot in MMORPGs and things like that. What I typically find myself doing is kind of rushing through that. You always try and make it look a little bit like yourself, but then you never really see it in the game besides like loading screens or, when you're in your HUD looking at your gear and stuff, which could be cool. I don't think their plan is to incorporate something with that much depth for this. Could it be changed, or could they add more custom looks and things like that? I mean, they definitely could. We have seen it from the technical alpha to the beta. We've seen more different customized looks, but it's nothing that we could change. It's like choose 1, 2, or of 3 different faces, of course, the 2 different genders. So far, that's where it's at. Is that something that you guys would like to see? Do you want to have the ability to customize your characters that much, or is it not something that's that important to you? And Nemo, as I have another question I'm going to grab right here, and then I'm going to ask you to scan the chat really quickly, and I'll be looking to see what people say about that. This is a question from Red October, another person who's huge in our community. He's one of our leaders of the North American division. Do you love working from home, or would you rather be in the office? Is this one of our our end of show questions?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Is there a balance both you like? What about okay? This is the end of show question, so I take that back. We'll hold that until the very end. Are there other?
I have like 4. Easy.
Oh,
they're going.
Grab one.
Oh man, there's some great questions in the chat. You guys are awesome, so keep them coming.
Yes.
Okay. So let's see which one first. So let's start with.
I like docs.
Okay. Okay, you go. That is funny, yeah. So someone said, how about becoming immortal? How is that going to work in the first few days, right? When there's no shadows or immortals yet. So when you get onto the server, how is that going to work? Well, nice and easy. The immortals at first are actually just NPCs. So when you play as a shadow, depending on how this is going to work, whether you have a dark house, dark clan, whatever, the first people, the first actual humans that go up against the immortals, the first shadows, are going to beat them and become immortal because the immortals are NPCs. So in our session when we played, a few times when we went up against the immortals, it wasn't even a fight. Like I think at one point I went up and took down the entire team with like 2 hits. They were just standing there. I wish there was a little bit more of a fight with the NPCs, but the real fight for immortality will happen the second time the cycle turns when there are humans on both sides. So that was a really good question right here. I like that. The other question that I'll jump into if you don't mind, Echo, and then you can take some others as well.
Sure.
Someone said, how much build diversity is expected among the classes at endgame? Or will it be just like D3? And I think that there's actually a lot of build diversity at the end of endgame for Diablo Immortal. There's a lot of differences between D3 and Immortal. You have your legendary gear, you have your secondary gear that also have set items in them now, and the set items themselves have bonuses that will affect each class. So for example, if you're playing, let's say as a Necro, there was a really cool set called, I believe it was called the Call of the Shepherds, or Shepherd's Call of the Wolves, I think. And it gave you a whole bunch of bonuses to your minions as a Necro. So it was a really good set for you there, but you weren't going to be able to obviously use it as a Barbarian. But there's tons and tons of diversity there. You can also change your legendaries, and when you have specific skills, the legendaries actually affect those skills and change them completely. So if you're a wizard and you're playing and you have a specific skill that you like, you can find a legendary, put it on, and it'll literally change everything about that skill. And there's tons of legendaries, tons of skills, tons of gear. And on top of that, you have the gems and how they affect stuff. So overall, all of this together with the gem resonance and all the rest of the endgame systems are, I believe, like miles ahead when it comes to D3 versus Diablo Immortal.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. And we also have a question coming through asking about devices. Now, I mentioned it before. I played on my iPhone 11 and my iPad from 4 years ago. It was fine. Do they get warm sometimes? But I mean, I've played for hours at a time. I was fine with it. Actually, I asked the community just a few days ago, what accessories do you think that you would want to use? Now we have a mobile game coming that you're not going to play for 3-minute segments. You're going to be playing it for extended periods of time. So I wanted to know what the community wanted. And I know that I use the claw socks. Yeah, I got some right here, actually. I use these because it just, when your fingers get sticky and they kind of like stick to the screen or the glass, these work out well. Use code ECHO. Save yourself 10% on those things. But, you know, I guess I had to have a shameless plug there. Sorry. But there's also other things, including fans that can go on the back of your phone, things to plug into your phone, controller handles to put onto your phone, and just lots of different accessories that make it more comfortable for you as a gamer. Me personally, I'm very comfortable just with the phone, claw socks in my fingers. I'm good to go. But I haven't seen any phones like blowing up or anything like that. The game is not that, I mean, I don't think it's that intensive on hardware, especially if you're fairly up to date with your device. I mean, if you're trying to play on a 5 or 6 year old device that maybe wouldn't have been that good in the first place, you're gonna have a hard time. Yes, and I see Nemo saying it. Lots of Scrappy Echoes are in the house right now. Thanks for coming through and supporting, guys. And yes, if you join the Scrappy Echoes, it's free. We're not charging you to join. It's literally it's a Discord server, well structured, lots of stuff going. I mean, I really can't explain it. You just have to come through and see what it's all about. But it's free. Yes, we're not charging you to join our clan family. We're just opening it up to all of you to come through. We have MFPF, another person from the family, saying, hi, just arrived. Do you think that later they will make a different UI for the PC? Because Nemo, currently the PC still has the buttons for gameplay down in the corners. They're shrunk, they're smaller, but they're still there. The joystick, I believe, is gone, but the attack buttons and skills are still there. Do you think that they'll get rid of that completely for people on PC? And I know if you play like on BlueStacks or something like that, the buttons are still there. Maybe you could fade them out based on the game or not, but they are still there. And I think that's kind of what Blizzard's going for here, Nemo, is like emulator style. It's not like it's being built for PC. It's being ported to PC for those players to be able to get into this mobile game. Am I right?
Yeah, this is a mobile game built to play on PC as well, but it is a mobile game first, not a PC game first. So, in my opinion, they're not going to change and make it exactly like it's not going to be like D3 if some people are if some people are asking. So no, those buttons are going to stay there, in my opinion.
All right, cool. I got another question. You got a question?
But, well, you first, because mine's hard.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna possibly hand this one off to you. It's from Bones McCoy. I heard that once you can select the Shadow faction, it will be limited and not everyone can join the Shadows. Is this true, and why is this?
No. So basically, what happens is right around right around level 40-ish, as you're playing and you upgrade, you will join or you will get introduced to both the Shadows and the Immortals, with like a little in-game mechanic where you're going to go down to the Court of Whispers, talk to some people, check out. I don't want to ruin it for you, but check out some stuff and then get introduced to the Shadows, and they'll also talk about the Immortals, and you get introduced to them as well. When you actually join the Shadows, you can either be just a Shadow by yourself, so you could just join and not even have to go into a dark house. Again, this could be changing, so don't take everything, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Let's wait and see what the finals are. But at the end of the day, you can join the dark house or not join the dark house. You could just hang out. You could do whatever you want as a Shadow. In the particular beta that we played, you couldn't leave. So, and again, we talked about that and we gave them a whole bunch of feedback. So I'm assuming they're going to change that. But when you join as a Shadow, you weren't able to leave. You had to wait for the cycle of Strife to turn in order for everything to reset. Because remember, what ends up happening is you have the Immortals and you have the Shadows. And in order for the Shadows to overtake the Immortals, they have to go through something called the cycle of Strife, a whole bunch of stuff. And at the end, there's that battle, which is called the Rite of Exile. And if the Shadows win, then the whole cycle turns and everything gets overturned. The Immortals get dropped back down and everything resets. And then all the Shadows and all the Immortals go back to being adventurer for like a few days before the cycle turns, and you get to try it all over again. That's kind of how it works. So in the beta, we weren't able to exit the Shadows. As an Immortal, you were able to quit. So if you became the Immortal and you wanted to just not be Immortal anymore, you just exit the Immortals and then, just be an adventurer or whatever. But that's the only limitation that I could think of as far as the Shadows. But again, I think they're going to address that. So there's that.
Thanks, Nemo. Was that the question that you were looking to dive into, or do you have another one that you pulled up?
I have another one.
Okay.
This is a hard one.
Do you want me to do an easier one quickly before you get into a difficult one? All right. How about this one?
We're both going to need to answer that one, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's get this one from Brad. He says, "Hey guys, how does Paragon level work? Do you have to reach max level before obtaining them?" So Paragon's pretty simple. It's done really well here, and it's pretty in-depth here in Diablo Immortal as well. Once you reach max level, so your character is your max level, you are then going to begin upgrading your character's Paragon level. Essentially, it's building out a different skill tree system that's going to give you more power, more stuff that you gain along the way, if I'm talking in very layman's terms. So yes, you would need to max out your character. Once you do, the grind still continues. You then get into the Paragon trees, and you can begin to customize a little bit whether you have active or passive Paragon elements that you add to your character. It's nice though, because once you get to level 60 or max level, you don't want to kind of feel done, I mean, you always want to feel the grind, like there's something that you're working towards. And Paragon trees and Paragon level are a great way to do that, while rewarding you for continuously pushing up and getting stronger as well. Paragon is not something that I got the deepest into, because throughout all of the alphas and betas, I tried playing a lot of the different classes. So a lot of times I'd reach max level, get into Paragon a little bit, and then start another character class, because I wanted to get footage for videos, try out all the character classes, try the skills. I know there's other players, Nemo's one of them, who dove deep into Paragon level, and that worked out really well. So he got to get a good look at exactly what was going on there. So Nemo, anything you want to add about Paragon? I went pretty surface on that one, or do you want to get into the next question?
Well, no, it was pretty good. The one thing I could say that the Paragon system here is, remember, just one of the upgrading systems for Immortal. It isn't the only one, right? In Diablo 3, a lot of people are used to this. It's just like a big basket of points that you just throw, right? You just kind of max out, and then you say, okay, I'm just going to throw this, that, or just keep throwing stuff in there. It doesn't work the same way in Immortal. You have the Paragon trees, and you have different ones. I think at the end of the day, it's a really cool idea of being able to select one Paragon tree or another, and each one has a theme, right? So and you can choose specific points in each Paragon tree because certain points are persistent and stay whether you select the Paragon tree itself or not, and certain points aren't. So you have to make a lot of really cool choices, and that also brings a whole bunch of build diversity to Immortal, right? We talked about this before with the whole system and how it works, the gems and the gear and all of that stuff. This is just another system. So just keep that in mind. You're gonna have to bring that up with everything else. But it is really cool, and I love the idea of being able to swap between Paragon trees, like thinking about it almost like a piece of gear, you know? Like, oh, if I'm going to go into PvP, I'm gonna make sure that I select the PvP tree that gives me the best stuff. Or if I'm gonna play and I need certain thing, I need magic find or whatever, you know? Each Paragon tree has its own positives. So it's really cool. I love this system. It's so much better than D3. It's just my opinion, but that's what I think about Paragons. Sorry. Echo.
No, it's fine. I mean, it's a new game. I mean, honestly, the way that Diablo Immortal is built should be better than D3. I mean, D3 is just so much older. So having something newer, whether it be a mobile game or not, you can add a lot more to it. So I think it's a good thing. You said you had another question. And as we keep going long on the easy questions, I'm scared to see what this in-depth question is going to look like. What do you have for us, Nemo? What's the question?
Well, this is the hardest question maybe for me. I should say that.
Okay.
The question was, what classes are we both picking at start?
Oh, okay. Well, that's not a hard question then. All right.
Okay, well, you go first then.
Someone also asked, I don't remember the name. Oh, Ari asked, what class do you recommend for free-to-play players? First of all, let's answer that part of the question. I think you should play free-to-play or someone who spends money in the game. Play the class that you think that you're going to like the most. Or play multiple classes. Put an hour into each of the classes and decide which one you like best and kind of roll forward with it. Now, if you're looking for a class that's maybe the strongest, maybe the best opportunity to be a winner in PvP, Barbarian, Crusader, as it sits right now, are going to be our top two picks. I personally favor the Barbarian. Some people may like the Crusader better, but they both can do very well in PvP. Some of the worst in PvP would be the Wizard and the Demon Hunter. So if you're a brand new player, I know Nemo's the Wizard guy, but if you're a brand new player, then you may have an easier time being a Barbarian. It's just how it's going to be. But if you really don't like Barbarian gameplay, if you don't like getting in there in the hack and slash, then, you know, maybe you won't enjoy it as much. So what I tell people is I play games for enjoyment, right? Nemo, I don't care if I am the Immortal in the server. Actually, I can almost guarantee I will never be the Immortal in the server. I don't want to have that level of commitment to get there. There are players that do, and that's totally cool, and that's something that's great about Diablo Immortal. You could be a player that wants to be number one, and you could work your way to get there. Or you could be a player that's a little bit more casual like myself, and I could sit back, do shadow activities, and really just enjoy the game with the social element of it. Diablo Immortal supports all of that. Now, I am beating around the bush, Nemo. I haven't answered the question that you actually asked, which was, what class will I be? And I will say, someone did mention that the monk today, something about some gear echo related in the monk. I feel like the monk is calling me, and the monk is one of my favorite classes. I would probably say it's my second favorite because of how it plays, the speed of it, the way that you could just play as the monk, although it's not the strongest. The monk is not going to be stronger than the barbarian. So most likely, day one, Nemo, I'm going to be going in as a barbarian. If there were a class that I was, debating, it would be the monk. It would be my second choice. How about you?
It's a tough one, and I still can't decide. This is why it's the hardest question for me. I think right now, seriously, on June 2nd, I'm going to be staring at my screen on my phone when you create a character, and I'm just still not going to know. Like, it's really tough. I think I'm stuck between either Barbarian, a Wizard, or a Necro. I love the Barb for all of the reasons we talked about. I also played with the Barb in D3. Really, at the beginning, I always started with the Barb, so it has a special place in my heart for me. Plus, I really like the PvP aspect of the Barb. I think it's really good. Now, at the same time, I love the Wizard because the Wizard is amazing. He's got a lot of synergy with his own skills. It's really cool, and it might be difficult at first to level the Wizard, but once you level him or her, they become OP. They also have a lot of really cool skills, a lot of really cool abilities, and then they synergize with each other. The Wizard is so much fun. I love playing with the Wizard. more PvE versus PvP, because with the PvP you have to use like a specific build, or you have to spam specific skills to be effective. You can be effective and quite annoying in PvP as a high-end wizard. Of course, high-end, right? If you just walk in, you're probably gonna get blasted. But if you have a lot of skills that you need and etc., you probably could get pretty effective in there. And the Necro is just fun. The Necro is fun in every possible way. He's fun to level. He's fun to play with. I really enjoyed the whole idea of the playstyle of the Necro. I really love the Witch Doctor. That happens to be my main class in D3. Like, I always main the Witch Doctor. I just love it. This is the closest playstyle to the Witch Doctor. Plus the whole idea of having pets with you. If you can gear the Necro the right way, it's probably the fastest way to level as well, because you have a whole bunch of help. You know, it's not just you. You're running with an army. Plus, being a Necro, a lot of people are gonna love you, because having a Necro in your party when you're playing is really cool as well. Necros are very, very helpful. So it's really tough, and I'll be honest with you, I still don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna need to clone myself twice so I can play with each class at the same time.
I mean, you do have two hands, Nemo, so stop being lazy, get on it. And something else we need to think about, we're content creators, right? So we want to, like, be able to share content with you guys. So, but you can't be all the classes for all the content and max level everything out. There's just no time in the day. So we're going to have to choose a main and maybe dabble in other character classes as well, just to make it fun for content. And if you're a player who, now remember, there is going to be a class change system. It's not going to be something that you could abuse, overuse, but there is going to be a way to get out of a class into another one. People also were asking Nemo about future characters coming to the game, future classes. And I actually have a video coming out on Tuesday talking about this topic. But I think 100% Blizzard plans on bringing new character classes to the game. Now, keep in mind, with a new character class, you have to bring new monthly skins for those character classes via the Battle Pass. You're going to have to make sure this character is balanced amongst all enemies, amongst all other classes. So bringing a new character, let's say the Witch Doctor. We know that Nemo and Anna want a Witch Doctor. You're going to have to make sure that the Witch Doctor, maybe a class in Diablo Immortal one day, is going to be balanced and work well with all the other classes. That's not going to be overpowered. That's not going to be too weak, and that's going to fit. So I definitely think more classes will be making it to Diablo Immortal. But Nemo, there was another part of this that I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, it was about the classes. There's no good and there's no bad. All of the classes are really good. And just watching you guys in the chat right now, we have wizard lovers, barbarian for life people, necromancer lovers. Really, all of the classes are enjoyable if you're into that type of a class. Me, I've never been into ranged classes in action RPGs, so I typically wouldn't move forward with a wizard or a demon hunter. But I like the melee up in your face type battles. So monk, crusader, and the barbarian would be three that I would probably flock to. Now you also have the the necromancer, which is kind of in the middle of everything. So if you're really just looking to run around and slay, that would be a good one. But there is no bad class inside of Diablo Immortal. There are classes stronger than the other, but there's nothing that's bad, or there's nothing that's just garbage. And I think that Blizzard's done a really nice job about that. Nemo, do you have any more questions?
Well, yeah, there's a bunch of questions. There's one correction really quick. Somebody asked about the Paragon. I believe the question was, if you choose the wrong Paragon, can you change it back? So no, you can't change it back, but they are coming up with a Paragon reset system, so you will be able to eventually reset your Paragon.
Excellent.
So be careful when you choose your Paragon points, because unless you want to reset it at one point, we'll find out more details about that when they come, you're not going to be able to change them. So there's that. The other question, there was actually a few questions. So here, I'll take one right here. Do we know, or when can we expect the launch hour? They were saying, is it going to be random? When do you think the most people are going to jump in and start playing? Echo, do you think you want to take that one? Or
when are we talking about, like what time? Like what time of day?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man, I don't know when Blizzard typically does it. I guess I would guess it would be similar to what the alphas and the betas were, but I don't even recall what time of day. It was like midday though. It wasn't like in the middle of the night, right, Nemo?
I think actually Wyatt answered this one. In fact, I'll go back to my own. At one point, I actually tried to bring out when you try to release something to Google and Apple, I believe that they actually choose the time, not you.
Okay.
So, and I believe, again, I didn't really get too much into it. I think Wyatt mentioned this because somebody asked at the either the Discord or online on Twitter. Someone asked, "Hey, when is this game going to come out? Like, what time? Do we have a global release at a specific time? Is it going to be Zulu? What's going?" And he said that they don't. They're not sure yet. So,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that we won't know the time for a while. But when is as soon as like as soon as it comes out, I'm sure everyone's gonna play it. I'm not sleeping. I'm ready. I took time off. I took my days off from work. I'm ready to go. I got coffee. Right, me and Echo are gonna get going as soon as the game drops.
It's gonna be real, guys, because we have to grind it and content create for it, and wait, work jobs too. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait for it. We have a question coming in from it's rolling away as I look at it from Brad. Does anyone know how much gem power it takes to rank a 5 out of 5 gem? Now, of course, this is going to depend on the gem that you're using, but Nemo, we've spoken about this privately a bit and maybe even in a video as well. Ranking gems up to max level to 5 stars, it's a grind. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of crests, and it takes a lot of gameplay.
Yeah, first of all, to get a 5 out of 5 star gem, you're gonna need to get lucky because it's random. And the chances of you rolling a 5 out of 5 is pretty low. So if you're super lucky, then that's great. But once you get that gem, the star rating on a gem doesn't matter. It's in any possible 5 out of 5 star gem will give you it's going to be a lot. So it's 50 gems, right? 50 gems in gem power to boost the first level. And as you start going up, you also require another one of the gems that you're upgrading plus the 50 gem power. So it's basically like almost exponential. So if you're going to max it out at level 10, it's going to be a lot. I'll do some calculations, so I'll get you the exact numbers, but it's a lot. A lot.
All right, thanks, Nemo. We have someone else asking about, will there be issues day one? That's a topic we spoke about. So here's another thing about the podcast here. When we have topics that we've already addressed, but maybe you came a little bit later to the stream, this stream will always be playable back on my channel. It will live here. It's also going to be uploaded to Apple, to Spotify, because we are going worldwide with the Immortal podcast now that we are getting towards that launch. So you could always watch back on parts of the podcast that you may have missed. Now I'm going to scroll through the chat a little bit more right here, Nemo, as you can also.
I have a question, actually.
Okay,
There's
sure.
a few questions.
Yeah, what do you got?
I want to take some time.
Of course.
So 2 questions here. What is the drop rate for the 5 out of 5 star gems? Really low. We just talked about that, right? So like 2% low. Again, don't quote me because we don't know the exact numbers, and we'll have to wait until the game releases if they provide it to us. But me personally, I've never seen it. I think I've seen it once, a 5 out of 5 star gem. I rolled a lot of them, and most of the time I've gotten either 1, 2, or 3.
I have never seen one. I have never seen a 5 out of 5 star gem. So that tells you, when you get one of those things, man, that's a good day. It is a good day. And yeah, but remember, this is where I come in and say about what kind of player are you, right? You don't need to have a maxed out 5 out of 5 star gem on all of your gem slots to enjoy Diablo Immortal, right? If you want to play be the best, and really compete in challenge rifts and be the top level everywhere, then that's going to be helpful to you, yes. But when I think about it, and again, this is something Nemo and I have talked about, you have different players who play the game. Nemo, I'm bringing you back in for this one. So we have our casual players, you have your medium players in the middle, and then you have your hardcore grinder players, right? Casual players are going to be people that play randomly here and there. By the way, thank you, James Hamilton, for subscribing, becoming a member here of the channel. I appreciate that. Thank you guys very much for supporting. So you have your casual players who maybe log in for 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, and they play casually. They just want to go smack stuff around, slay some demons. That's your casual player. A lot of these players are free to play, or they just buy the $5 battle pass for some extra rewards. Then you have your medium players. These are the ones that maybe log in for an hour, maybe 2 hours if there's events going on or something during the day. And, they probably are battle pass members. They want to compete in the game, but they're not trying to be the top level. And then you have the players everyone that wants to be the Immortal. They want to be the best. They want to be the strongest. They're probably going to be spending more money in the game to get better odds of getting better gems and to fill out their gear and stuff, and attempting to be more powerful. Nemo, I think that the largest group, now this is mobile first, and I know mobile games well. I've been making content on these for nearly 7 years. Most people who play on mobile are casual players. So I would go as far as saying 45 to 50% of the players playing Diablo Immortal are going to be the casual players. They're going to be the free to play. They're going to be the maybe $5 battle pass, and they're going to play for, 10 minutes to a half an hour a day. Then you have probably 40 to 45% of the players that play that spend a little bit and that spend an hour or two playing Diablo Immortal most days because they want to have fun. They want to dive in. They want to just really play the game. And then you're going to have 5%, and honestly, I think that's generous. I think that saying 5% of people that play Diablo Immortal that are going to try and be the top and the best is high. I think we could go as far as saying 1, 2, 3%, but we'll say 5% just to keep it even, are going to really want to be the Immortal. Those are going to be the ones that may be spending more inside of the game. You guys may want to call them pay to win, but remember, you can't just pay and get the power. You have to play and pay to unlock a lot of that stuff. So honestly, I mean, I know there's a lot of controversy about pay to win, yada yada. Honestly, I think that the game is set for everyone to enjoy based on what you're expected to get out of the game. So, point being, all of that long run on I was talking about, Nemo, was a very small amount of people playing the game are gonna care, honestly, care at all about being the best. I personally do not care at all about being the best. And I'm going to be playing a lot. Like, this is my life. I mean, essentially, yours too, Nemo. This game is a big part of our life. Are you always going to be a shadow, or are you going to make a push for immortality?
Well, to be honest with you, I really don't like the whole... I love the lore aspect of immortality, the whole idea of it, but in execution, it's not something that I'm really into because it's just going to be, in my opinion, a waste of time and just drama without really any reward. Again, in my opinion, for everybody who wants to play Immortal, more power to you. I will watch you from the side, from the shadows, and be a thorn at your back. Watch that vault because we're coming for it. But in general, I'm going to be a shadow for life. But I agree with you in a sense, of course, unless they change some stuff about the immortality, right? But I agree with you in the sense that a lot of us, when we're in this bubble, I've seen this in other games as well. We really tend to be in a bubble, right? We watch the videos, we're on top of stuff, we follow Discord servers, we get in and just basically as soon as somebody from the development team tweets anything, we find out about it. We're on top of stuff because we're the hardcore community, the craziest of the crazy, so to speak, the ones that are the most passionate. Now, depends how you want to play. It's really up to you. But at the end of the day, most of the time, most players, when a game goes global like this, not just a PC version, but a mobile version that's free, that's available for everybody, it's not going to be just a Diablo community, right? Everyone's going to play. My grandma is going to play. I know we talked about it earlier, but she will. She's going to be a casual. A lot of other players are going to be... In fact, so once you look at that situation at the highest level, all the way at the top there, I'm with you, Echo. I think we're somewhere maybe in the 3% of people. Mm-hmm. If you're really looking to ask them, folks, some of them don't even watch YouTube. They're not going to watch YouTube videos. They don't even know when Diablo Immortal is coming out. They're just going to log on to their Play Store and say, oh, what's this game? Oh, let me download and check it out. And that's how they're going to get introduced to it. They're not going to see Echo. They're not going to see Nemo. They're not going to see anybody. They're just going to play the game, check it out, and see how it is. And that's going to be the most of the players in the Diablo Immortal community. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I agree. And Nemo, I mean, we're getting very close to the end of the show. Reminding you, we're not going to be back next week, but when Nemo, is this show becoming a weekly show again? I know that you have the calendar set for us here, so let's let everyone know when we're back weekly. There is another question I'm going to take from the chat though, because I loved it. It was a great question.
Sure, that sounds good. So basically what we're doing is we're going back to being weekly on May 22nd. So from that Sunday or from that weekend of May 22nd, we're going to be on every week, of course, counting down to the Diablo Immortal release date, talking about all the latest things that are going on. And of course, when Diablo Immortal comes out, we'll be here weekly as well. Pretty excited about that.
Yeah, and remember, this is not just a show with Nemo and I, although I think it's great, Nemo and I hanging out together. We will bring in guests from time to time when we think that they have information that we want them to share, or in some way that they connect. Or, well, like I said, we have other things happening as well. Stay tuned for that. So I'm looking forward to this being weekly, 19 days away from having a weekly podcast for you guys ongoing. Oh, man, I had a great question here. Okay, Nemo, from Bones McCoy. My favorite question yet. Your friend or family gives you a $100 gift card for Diablo Immortal. how do you spend it at launch? I know what my answer is. Essentially, the question is, what's the best way to spend $100? Where are you going to get the most out of your money here, Nemo? What are your thoughts?
Oh, tough question. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. So, and this is putting me on the spot a little bit because I haven't really done the math. So
I can go first if you're not comfortable.
Oh, it's okay. I can go.
Okay.
Battle Pass. 100% getting the Battle Pass. Depending on what the boon of plenty is, right now it's not really worth it, but it might be. So I'm probably going to get that as well. I'm going to get every treasure trove there is, right? If you've seen the videos where showed you the treasure troves, it gives you like 350% plus and etc. It basically gives you a bunch of free stuff. So whenever you see those all day long, I'm buying them. Some of them were like 99 cents, some of them were like $2, some of them were $4 or $5, things like that. So I'm getting the Battle Pass. I'm probably getting the boon. I'm definitely getting the troves, and I am with the rest of the money. I'm gonna buy the legendary gems, so I can the legendary quests, so I can get myself those legendary gems, and I'm gonna play them all and then upgrade and figure it's gonna be awesome. So that's my plan.
Hey, shout out for that donation. Thank you guys so much. Scrappy Echoes EU with the flexes. Appreciate that. So I would do it a little bit differently than you, Nemo. So I'm going to morph the question a little bit, right? I wouldn't spend it all on day one. I know that Nemo answered and it wouldn't all be spent on day one either, but buy the Battle Pass. You have the $5 or the $15 version. I believe that's how it's working. Is that how it's working, Nemo? $5 for the basic, and then you could get like 15 for the expanded one that includes the skin or something. So I would get the $15 one. If you're looking to really be careful, $5 Battle Pass. Like Nemo said, Boon of Plenty is changing a bit, so we could kind of wait to see what that's going to look like before we answer that. But I'd probably get that as well. It was $5 in the past and worth it. And every treasure trove are 300, 400 times value. 99 cents. I think they went up to $10 towards the higher ones. I get those. And then any more money, Nemo said he would spend on gems. Or crests. I was going to say I would hold it for the next Battle Pass. And I would just continue to hold, because the treasure troves are they're gonna be gone, right? Once you get them all, you're not gonna get those, because typically you get those when you go into a different a different dungeon or something, right?
Yeah. Whenever you unlock, sometimes when you unlock stuff too. So like if you were to, as soon as you get to the Heliquary,
right,
it looks like there's a Heliquary trove and so on.
Yeah, exactly. So once you start unlocking things, at some point you're going to finish the whole story campaign of the game, and those things are not going to be there as often. Of course, more will come with time. There'll be different deals, but anytime there's a 300 times deal, most of the time, as long as the things in that deal are relevant to what you're trying to do, I think it's worth it. So, Battle Pass 5 to 15, let's say $15. Let's say the Boon of Plenty is 5, so we're up to $20. A bunch of these deals as you get through the game, that's probably $50 that you spent on the game, within your first week or two as you unlock all this stuff. Then I'd hold it and just continuously get Battle Passes or see if any more of those treasure troves open up. That's probably how I'd spend it, and I think that's a great way to end today's show, Nemo. It's been an hour. We've gotten community questions in. We told everyone when we're going to be, when the Immortal podcast is going to be live, and it's going to be awesome. We got Jen. Thank you so much for the membership. We have V-Dub Vinny coming through. A lot of Scrappy Echoes here, Nemo, and I'm reminding everyone that's in the chat right now, all the viewers, there's a pinned link above. That's our Scrappy Echoes Discord server. That's our family server. 100% free to join. We do not charge for membership. You come, play alongside us. We all hang out. We have just hangout sessions where we all get on voice and just hang out. Talk Diablo Immortal or talk donuts and tacos. It really doesn't matter. We are a family. That's what we've been building here for 2.5 years. Nemo, last things that you want to touch on. Well, I guess I should say one more thing. Nemo's channel, where he covers Diablo Immortal regularly, is linked down below. The Scrappy Echoes Discord server is also linked down below of all of our videos all the time. Make sure you come on through. What you got to say, Nemo? We had a question from Red to close out with, too.
Yeah, for sure. So I do want to mention, we love our Scrappy Echoes. The community is amazing. Whether you want to be part of the family of clans, or you'd want to be just, come hang out with us, make sure that you follow that link and definitely check us out. And we have We're actually international. This is actually quite nuts. We've been growing and growing and growing, and we have a whole family in EU. We have a family in Australia. We're getting ready to set up a family in Asia. That's right, Southeast Asia and etc. All of you who want to play with us, make sure you come on down to the server and apply, because we have a whole bunch of people from a bunch of different regions: Australia, South, even Latin America. I believe we might have some people from South America and etc. So we're getting ready to basically be 100% global. And this is very exciting because me and Echo are going to be, and some people are asking, we're going to be able to play with you. Yes, you are, because I have 6 accounts or 6 slots in my game, and I'm going to have one of those accounts in every one of the regions to make sure that we follow you, play with you, check you out, and etc. It's really exciting. Make sure to come on down to the Scrappy Echoes Discord server. No matter where you are in the world, come hang out with us and join our clan family, because it's going to be amazing. We have 31 days to go. Definitely want to come join.
Yes, I think that's a good idea. Hopefully I didn't just blast everyone's ears out with music. I'm not sure. I may have. If I did, I apologize for that. But yes, we are everywhere. You are welcome. There's no reason not to join. Come hang out with us. It'll be fun. We'll be back in 19 days with another episode of the Immortal Podcast. We can't tell you enough how grateful we are for all of your support over the last few years and how much massive support we're getting right now. Shout out to everyone in the Scrappy Echoes. That's been huge and really taking a big part in what we're doing. We appreciate you guys. And make sure you sub, ring the bell so you don't miss out on the Diablo Immortal content that is straight fire. We're out of here, Nemo.
It's been a blast. I'm going to throw a link to the podcast, so you're going to see us in about an hour or two, both on Spotify, Google Podcast, and the Apple Podcast as well. We'll see you there. I'm really excited. I can't wait for the next podcast. Echo, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome, man. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. And as always, be good.